This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam in for Tori. Today is the day. Donald Trump is going to be the first former president to appear in court, if you can believe it, to face criminal charges. So many of you are writing in what's going to happen. Here's what we know. Here's what we can expect to happen. Sometime around midday, Trump will leave his penthouse at Trump Tower in New York City and will travel to Manhattan's criminal courthouse. Now, at the hearing, Trump will find out the details of the reported 34 counts. Trump will then travel back to Florida, where he will address the nation tonight. That's what we know. Now, GMA spoke with one of its correspondents about what Trump is likely to do now. Take a listen.
He's going to get in and out absolutely as quickly as possible, but when he gets to Mar-a-Lago, you will see an all-out campaign, not just against Bragg, not just against the judge, but really against the criminal justice system.
So if Trump continues to attack everyone, including the criminal justice system as a whole, what do you think the effects will be? We want to hear from you. Please write us in. Let us know what you're thinking. Jeff, what do you think the effects will be?
You know, I kind of changed my tune. I was thinking it wasn't going to be a big deal and this wasn't going to rile up his base because I think a lot of people have fallen off. But I think I might be wrong. You know,
I was kind of having those thoughts this morning.
Yeah, I saw Russell Brand read this famous quote, like just when I was scrolling Instagram, and it was something about Kierkegaard, and it's a famous quote, like, once the emperor falls, he'll be born again as a martyr. And I feel like he was talking specifically about Trump, so I'm stealing that. But I was like, that makes so much sense because it's like people are getting riled up again, and what he does best is exactly what he's going through. We talked about the gag order yesterday. He might have to talk about specifics, but just pointing out, this is bad, you're ugly, you're whatever. That's his wheelhouse, and it's gonna rile up some people. So I kind of gonna retract what I said earlier in the week.
Yeah, this is going to be his Netflix special, Erica. I think, like, what happens when he speaks in Florida, because he's done an amazing job. First of all, this was the party of law and order, which was crazy. But if you think about the way he's systematically attacked the institutions, he went after the FBI, the DOJ. He's gone after the IRS, calling them corrupt, and his followers are doing the exact same thing. So what he's done is he's softened up that ground to just say, I told you everything's corrupt, I told you, and now look what's happening. This is kind of like all the seeds that he's sown, all kind of coming to fruition on the day that he's being indicted. So I'm curious to see, but he has done the work in terms of undermining our institutions, including the institutions of the air quotes law and order, which is the platform they ran on.
Erica, undermine, yes. However, a handful of years ago when there were protests with BLM, then no, our criminal justice system is not corrupt. So it's corrupt when it's Trump facing charges, but it's not corrupt when protesters or people of color are facing charges.
Yeah.
Make this make sense to me.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, you said it all. It really doesn't make sense, but it's also, it's very scary to me because this feels very look over here. I mean, this is a credibility and a PR nightmare for us as the United States. I mean, when we look at the economy, and God only knows what's going to happen in terms of an impending recession, but I'm looking at the U.S. dollar in terms of national trade, and all of this together doesn't bode well for us. To be honest and very frank about it, Donald Trump is one person, and he's also a man of a certain age. There are generations behind who are very mad, I'll just say it like that, because you're taking up all of this space in order to manipulate a process, a system, a country that they are going to have to expend spend decades upon decades facing the consequences of that. So I understand this is a huge historical day and it's a big event, but at the end of the day, like, most of us are concerned about how our children are going to be fed, how we're going to pay our rent, if our children can go to school and expect to come home without getting shot. There's so many bigger issues. So the idea that the narcissism of one person and so many people will actually rise up to support them against their best interest.
Well, a lot of people
is mind-boggling.
Yes, it is. But a lot of our, constituents here in this country, a large portion of them do believe that Trump is being charged unjustly. In fact, I want to show you this video that's happening right now in Manhattan in front of the courthouse. So it's peaceful, but there's some skirmishes here and there. This is a Trump supporter trying to remove a banner that says Trump lies all the time. And you can hear them yelling back and forth. So there's some chaos. We'll continue to follow it and see what happens. But a lot of our viewers have also
Are we
brought
just going
up
to blow past the fact that she fell?
I know,
it was.
But then she did that thing when you fall,
yeah.
and then you try and act like you meant to do that.
Yeah.
So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, some leg lifts. It's like,
Well,
no.
it's her fault she fell because her hat was so far past her face, so she
Yeah.
couldn't be recognized, that she couldn't see in front of her.
Yeah. She's recognized.
Yeah, now we can recognize her. Now, a lot of our viewers did bring up Melania. Is she going to support Trump, especially because he's facing charges for alleged hush payments, right, to a porn star cheating on Melania? So Trump waved to cameras in front of Trump Tower yesterday after arriving in New York City. But here's the thing, Melania was not seen traveling with her husband. So People magazine reports that Melania plans to support her husband, like she always does. How do you think Melania is doing with all of this? Do you think she's actually going to support Donald Trump?
I mean, does it matter? What? She's not
People
there.
care. People care.
No. I get it. I mean, if Anthony or your spouse was like facing the biggest illegal jeopardy of their life, would you be like, I am going to support you via Zoom in the basement? There, you would be next to them if this was an issue. There's no discussion. So we see how she's supporting, and she's in a tough place because this is super embarrassing, Erica.
I don't know if it is. I think that this was a situation that everybody knew what they were doing going into it.
Right.
I think she's looking at it like, I didn't sign up for all this, so I'm over here. And I wouldn't expect any different. What are we doing? Are we really acting like she gonna stand by her man?
Some people do
Like-
until their kid is old enough. Barron is 17.
He's
That's-
17.
But you know what? A lot of people wait till their child leaves high school and they're in college and they turn 18. That's relatable.
We're talking about like daddy stepped out on mommy issues. Like, not that that's any different. I mean, it's very, very bad. But that's like things that are happening behind closed doors. This is blown up for the entire world to see.
We will have to wait and see. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the Breakfast Club's Ali Sheedy. Does she keep in touch with any of her 80s co-stars? And Chris Hemsworth appears to be taking a break from acting. Dr. Coley joins us next to talk about how his risk for Alzheimer's is impacting his career.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
Okay, so we're getting a lot of comments right now. Hi, Dr. Coley. Thank you. You look beautiful too. So we're getting a lot of comments in regard to our viewers believing that Melania, does not support Trump. Yeah, I think I don't understand how things work in such a high-profile situation. I don't know if the PR agent suggests that she does be there physically or doesn't be there physically,
Right.
considering the charges. I don't know if there's more to this that we're not looking into.
What works in their favor, Sammy, is I think that they've never been a huge lovey-dovey couple. Like,
True.
You remember seeing the Obamas dancing at the White House during the inauguration, and you see, you always see the spouse and the president holding their hands up together, and I love this one. You've never really seen
You've
that.
seen her push his hand away.
Right, and like
the
him,
exact
remember like
opposite.
at the beginning of his first term, like he would like get out of the car and like not close the door on. Whatever their dynamic is, everybody's got different dynamics. Jeff is like not a big PDA person, so they've never really portrayed that, to the public. So I don't think it looks as odd as if like this was
good
Barack
point.
Obama and like you didn't see Michelle, you'd
Right.
be like,
Right.
right.
30 seconds.
Can you imagine?
Do you want to go down to the orange with me?
Still like 30 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah, here I got you.
Can you imagine though if it
got it.
was Obama facing charges for alleged and then we're going to talk to Dr. Coley not only about Alzheimer's, but how hormone treatments can affect that disease. I think that's really important. A lot of people don't realize when they're taking hormones, because we hear all the benefits of hormones, right? However, there are some drawbacks that she's going to address. So stay tuned. Welcome back. There is a lot of medical news making headlines today, so we have Dr. Payal Kohli here with us. Thank you, Doc.
Hi, guys. So, Dr. Kohli, we want to talk about Chris Hemsworth because he announced that he's taking a break from acting after discovering that he's at high risk of Alzheimer's based on testing he had for a new Nat Geo docuseries. So is this test something that we all have access to?
You know, most of us do have access to it because it's a simple blood or saliva test. But the bigger question is, just because we can, should we? You know, so if we do have access to a genetic test, knowing that just because you're a carrier of this double mutation doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go on to have Alzheimer's, should he have even gotten that test? And according to the American Alzheimer's Association, the answer is no. So it is saying most healthy people should not go poking that bear because this has serious implications for your life, for your peace of mind, for your career choices, and it may not ever result in Alzheimer's. So I'm curious, would you guys go out and get yourselves tested knowing that we have access to this test?
For me, ignorance is bliss. You know, in some cases.
If there's a way to mitigate it, if you know, is there anything you can do to somehow change the trajectory?
Not yet. And so I think that is what we're waiting for. And as we move towards more personalized medicine, the idea is to discover risk factors, genetic risk factors, so that we can modify them, not just discover them so that they're a dagger hanging over our heads.
Right. It reminds me of when we were talking about cancer cells, and the last time you were here, and you said, you know, yes, you can. My chair almost broke. You said that, like, yes, you can get these tests, and maybe one day it says, yes, we can cure cancer. We can identify these cells before they become malignant. But you're also saying that they may never become malignant. So now, do you want to know that walking around making decisions that you're not sure if this will ever come to fruition? So it seems like these are parallel situations.
Very parallel. And if you have a family member who's had Alzheimer's, you're really considering it, I would strongly urge you to talk to a genetic counselor first, because they can really guide you.
And I just want to be clear, Doc. Make sure this isn't anything like getting your breast exam or your prostate checked. You know, these are two totally separate things they have to be clear about. Yeah.
I'm so glad you made that point, Jeff, because there you can change the outcome by getting it diagnosed. Here it's more of a sort of knowing whether or not it'll come to fruition, and it may not.
All right, well, Doc, you know, there's gonna be an Ozempic question somewhere, and you know, Americans were looking, people are looking for cheaper versions of Ozempic. In Mexico, there is a what it's called Montero, I believe.
Manjaro.
Manjaro, I think.
Montero.
Montero
That's a song.
No, it was Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
I saw Anthony, the producer, and I was like, wasn't that Lil? Okay, I'm always gonna call it that. Anyway,
Lil Nas X.
Maybe they should put you on the
people want
naming
both
committee.
of them. So you know, what do you think about this? Should they be going down to Mexico to get cheaper Ozempic?
I mean, this has become a craze. We are going to other countries to get this drug off-label. So Ozempic is a diabetes drug. Wegovy is the sister version, which is actually for weight loss. So Ozempic is not even for weight loss. It's not FDA approved. It's for diabetics. But you're going to another country where the manufacturing is different, where the dose of the medication is different because it's a diabetic drug, and then you're stealing from Peter to pay Paul. You're creating shortages in Canada to try to get, you know, this weight loss drug here. So I think we need to do better here. We need to make sure we have enough supply so that people aren't running around to Mexico and Canada and what have you to try to get this medication to lose weight. Yeah. But Manjaro is the new sort of upgraded version of Ozempic. So you'll hear a lot about this because it has what Ozempic has, plus a second agonist, a second little component that's called a GIP agonist, which can actually help you lose even more weight. So it's kind of the new and revised Ozempic, so to speak.
Right. Well,
not Montero.
Montero's moved on and is doing well.
I looked at that and I was like, well, don't say it on the show, Al. And there it goes.
Dr. Kohli, thank you so much for being here and for always answering our questions. DBL Nation, Dr. Kohli has a new podcast.
Yes.
Make sure you check out The Heart of Medicine with Dr. Payal Kohli wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be right back. Thank you, Doc.
recognition of International Fact-Checking Day, we decided to highlight the increasing ability of artificial intelligence tools to generate realistic images. We're going to look at two recent stories about images that falsely depict former President Donald Trump and the Pope. First up, former President Trump predicted New York authorities would arrest him on March 21st. That same morning, fake images appearing to show Trump in handcuffs went viral. In this case, a reverse image search helped us figure out that these pictures weren't real. That search led us to this Twitter post and other AI-generated images of Trump being arrested. They were created using Midjourney, an AI application that can generate realistic images based on a user's prompts. Midjourney later banned the word arrest as a prompt and banned the user who created the fake images. Next, you may have seen this viral image of the Pope wearing a puffer coat. This was also created using the AI tool Midjourney. The picture contained one big clue that it was fake: distortion around his fingers. Historically, AI isn't great at accurately generating hands, although it is getting better. There's also the context. The Pope doesn't wear a puffer coat. He normally wears an overcoat called a greca in the winter. A reverse image search again led us to the source, a Reddit post from a now suspended account. Each of these examples are very realistic at first glance, and technology is only making them better. It's likely we'll keep seeing more of these images, so think twice before sharing your next social post so you can avoid unintentionally spreading misinformation. And remember, you can always tag us at VerifyThis if there's anything you want help to verify. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
I can't believe it. You are beautiful, even without makeup. I have so much makeup on, and it's perfect.
Welcome back. 80s icon Ali Sheedy defined an era with movies like The Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire. And in the show, Single Drunk Female, she reminds us that no one has a perfect mother. Earlier, we spoke with her about the new season. Take a look. Please welcome to the show, Ali Sheedy.
Yeah. Hey, hey.
We love you. Welcome.
We absolutely do.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's get to it, because you're returning as the smother, Carol, in season 2 of Single Drunk Female. So how has she changed this season from season 1?
This season is actually about figuring out that relationship with Samantha, played by Sophia Black-D'Elia, my daughter. The first season was very much about Sam is a drunk, and is she going to get sober, and she's moving back into my house, and how do I deal with her? This season, she is no longer drinking, and for me, I felt like Carol the mother needs to actually start looking a little bit at her own issues as she tries to figure out this relationship with Samantha.
I mean, you are growing with this character, and I saw your face. Full disclosure, I could see before we came on. You're so excited when we introduced you. That passion is awesome. Do you feel like really connected to this character? There seems to be something there.
Is she? Yes, probably too much so. But she's very, very alive to me. I love this character, and just kind of keeps clawing herself deeper and deeper into me as the series went on.
Ali, I'm getting so nostalgic just talking to you. Whenever I watch your movies from the 80s, I get nostalgic. Any movies from the 80s. What movie from that era do you think is the best? And do you ever go back and watch some of your old stuff?
I don't go back and watch it. It's just too much to do that. But my favorite is everybody's favorite. It's The Breakfast Club, of course.
Listen, don't sell yourself short on Short Circuit. I love that one too.
I know.
Johnny Five is alive.
Okay. Yes, Short Circuit.
And Ali, I used to put like sugar in my hair, and then I would do that scene when we're from The Breakfast Club, yes, with the dandruff.
You could just describe the scene.
No, I wanted to show her the scene.
She was there.
It's very funny though. I'm happy that you picked up that little tip.
We loved it. So, okay, here's the thing that I heard that you recently called Molly Ringwald, speaking of The Breakfast Club, your psychic sister. How does one become a psychic sister to Ali Sheedy?
I think we're very, very, very close. We share so much history. There's just so much that we just intuitively know about each other because we've had some experiences that I don't share with anybody else on the planet. So we're just close, and I absolutely love her. She's a really, really dear friend. We talk a lot, and it's just there's just something really special there. It's hard to describe.
Any other people you talk to from the 80s? I'm just so curious that you keep in touch with that maybe we wouldn't guess.
Yes.
Anybody
in the 80s.
Not really. It's I just, yes and no. So nice when we're back in contact for whatever reason. But the person that it just is a true friend is Molly.
Would you want to see any of those movies rebooted if you could pick any of them?
Good question.
I think there could be interesting ways to do something that was Breakfast Club-y, sort of kind of like that, but more relevant to the times we live in now. There's not a single other movie from the 80s I think that anybody could possibly really remake now. I don't think it translates.
I'd
even though
agree
they're
with
fun
that.
to watch.
Yeah.
Well, Allie, we absolutely adore you. This has been so great to have you, and we can't wait to check out the new season. Congratulations, DBL Nation. Check out season 2 of Single Drunk Female, premiering April 12th on Freeform, and the whole season will be available on Hulu the next day. Thank you so much, Allie. We'll be right back.
Thank
you.
on season 2.
Verify viewer Casey asked us, can food go down the wrong pipe? So let's verify. Our sources are the American Academy of Otolaryngology Head and Neck Surgery, Andrew Tkachuk, an ear, nose, and throat doctor, and dysphagia specialist Rena Abrams. When you swallow food or drinks, they should travel down your esophagus and into your stomach. But according to the American Academy of Otolaryngology Head and Neck Surgery, sometimes food can accidentally pass through your vocal cords and get stuck in the trachea, which we sometimes call the windpipe.
So we basically have two pipes in our throat, if you want to think about it like that. We have our airway, which is our trachea, and then we have our esophagus or our food tube. When we're breathing and speaking, our airway is wide open, and so that tube is wide open, and the esophagus, the food tube, is closed.
But if you're talking or laughing while you're eating, both tubes are open, which can allow food to slip into the wrong one, and you cough to knock it loose. That is called aspiration, according to Dr. Andrew Tkachuk.
That's actually a good thing. That's your body recognizing the situation where something's going somewhere where it shouldn't.
So we can verify, yes, food can go down the wrong pipe. If it happens once in a while, there's nothing to worry about. But if it happens often, our sources say you should call your doctor. You could have a medical condition called dysphagia, which can impact your ability to swallow normally and lead to pneumonia. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
In the meantime, tonight, advocates are celebrating the FDA's move to allow Narcan to be sold over the counter without a prescription. Now, Narcan is a drug overdose nasal spray that can certainly save lives. We've received a lot of questions since this announcement came out yesterday, so let's verify some facts. These are our sources, including the FDA. First question, is the Narcan brand the only option? For now, the FDA hasn't approved any other products for over-the-counter sales. So for non-prescription buyers, Narcan is the only option in the near term. But the FDA's announcement made it clear Narcan's monopoly is only temporary. Going forward, they will, quote, work with any sponsor seeking to market a non-prescription naloxone product. That means other companies have a shot at getting over-the-counter approval going forward. So what about the price? As of now, we don't know for sure. According to the Bureau of Justice Assistance, the cost of a single naloxone rescue kit varies between $22 and $60 for law enforcement programs. GoodRx tracks prescription prices and discounts. It shows Narcan currently selling for around $65 to $75 per dose, although that's not over the counter. Generic prescription sprays were available for as little as $12 a spray. That difference highlights concerns that brand markup might make the newly approved product inaccessible for those at risk, but we can't say for sure. prices have not been announced, Walgreens tells us it hopes to have the spray available later this year.
Welcome back. We've got some amazing products from our friends at SideDeal. Check them out. Steph, I am ready to shop. What do you have for us?
Hey Tori, hi DBL Nation. I am so excited to show you the fabulous deals today. Check out this. We've got the 2-pack JVC True Wireless Earbuds with a charging case.
Oh, that's cute.
JVC is a leader in high quality sound equipment, and so we are really proud to be close partners so that we get great deals. So normally these are $40 each. We've got 2 for $29.99. So that's saving up to 63%.
If you have teenagers or any kids, buy these, give them to them, and you're welcome.
Now check out this. If you're a coffee lover like me, it is a must-have. It is the Cuisinart T10 touchscreen Burr coffee grinder.
What?
This large capacity grinder stores enough grounds for 32 cups of coffee. Ooh. So normally this is $68, but we've got it for $39.99. So that's saving up to 41%.
That's a great price. Really good price.
Oh, check out this, Tori. It's the 6-pack emergency magnetic road flares with flashlights.
Whoa.
These flares are without the flame. They are super strong, they're durable, magnetic, and best of all, they are weatherproof.
Nice.
Normally these are $15 each, but we've got a 6-pack for $29.99. So that's saving you guys 67%.
Put it in your car, forget about it, and thank us later.
Our last product today is the Pro Breeze 4-stage True HEPA large room air purifier with ionizer. And it has 3 different fan speeds that let you choose the right option for current air quality conditions in your space. So normally this is $177.
I was like worried about that.
But we've got it for $69.99, Tori. So that's saving you and everyone at home 60%.
This is a great deal and could be very helpful during allergy season. That's really good to know. So guys, you know what to do. Head on over to SideDeal.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. Or you can even visit SideDeal.com just on your smartphone. Steph, thank you so much.
30. Yeah, we have 30 seconds.
I'm glad you addressed it.
Lots of things going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I just got that humidifier for my kids' room.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And today, sorry,
It's a special day.
Today was a historic day. You know, it's nothing to celebrate considering it's a former president, whether you support okay. I don't know
what
what's
happened.
I don't know. There's so much going on over here that I can't even focus. But thank you for watching. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.